Hey everyone, it's your girl Desiree, and I am back. Decided to do a live stream, and yeah, I wanted to talk about the India Arie situation and just the stuff that I see online. This is also something I noticed. I think it was Felicia Rashad who spoke out about Sexy Red, and then Sexy Red was like, "Oh, you're just mad because you're old and I'm young and turned," something like that. So I just find it very interesting. I don't know. I think it's because I'm not saying that my generation always had the best respect for elders as we should have. There were times when we might have rolled our eyes or said things we shouldn't have said, did things we shouldn't have did. But I feel like especially when it comes to public disrespect, there was just certain things we just didn't do or we didn't go that far. And I feel like nowadays there's not as much respect for elders. And obviously, some elders are not respectful. They don't carry themselves respectful. But from what I've seen, Felicia Rashad, India Arie, these type of women do carry themselves with a certain level of respect, not just for themselves, but for other people, certain level of class and decorum. And at the end of the day, the industry is the industry. There's wicked stuff going all up in there. So I don't put nothing past anybody, regardless of their age. But for the context of this conversation and from what I've seen, I haven't seen any major disrespect from these ladies towards any younger women in the entertainment industry or in general. So, some of you probably know about Young Miami, Carisha's song Spend That. So, when I first seen it, the video, I was kind of taken back because I'm like, why would you use this type of video? I feel like it could have been a whole different concept, especially being that the song has become so much popular now. But nevertheless, I thought it was interesting. But you know, the city girls back in the days, they had that type of background. I used to listen to the city girls and stuff like that, and I've talked about this on social media how I really wish that I hadn't gone back to secular music because I had stepped away from it for years, and then I went back to it because naturally that was something I always kind of listened to growing up off and on, even though some of us we were raised a certain way, but we still liked certain songs. It was catchy. We wanted to dance to it, even if deep down you kind of felt like, okay, this is not really appropriate. This is a little weird, especially with the music, whereas calling women names and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like, okay, well, why you got to say all of that just for the song to be catchy? I believe it's by design. I believe it's on purpose because you can have a catchy song without degrading women in the process or without women saying certain things about themselves. So I feel like it's a part of the agenda. But let's go into some stuff here. Let me see 1 second. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay, so I was trying to find some videos on here. Okay, so basically, I'm trying to see if I could find the original comment that she made. Is this it? I'm calling for a boycott of Young Miami's song Spend That. I believe it's degrading to our culture. At some point, we have to take seriously the power music has over our perception and the values it reinforces. This can't be the song of the summer. I spent my entire life caring way too much. Okay, no, that's something else. My bad. Um, I'm trying to think. Oh, maybe she has a. Let me see something here. 1 second. Let me see if I can sign into X, so Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Okay, 1 second. Let me see if I can share my screen again. Okay, so let's see. What's this one here? Let me do it. Hey. Yeah, that's the song. Let me see if this is. You already read that? Yeah, this is the other one. It says, I finally realized that not everybody wants to get free, and it was a very, very rude awakening, shaking my head. Because the mass acceptance of this song is a crystal clear sign of this much bigger truth. I was trying to see if she had like a an account. I'm trying to figure out where she was saying this from.
That I think we should boycott this song of the summer. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I refuse to sing that song, but either you know what it is or you don't. And if you don't, you can go find it. It's very easy. But I don't think we should boycott. What I want is to see people understand the power of words and music and to make choices that are healthy for them. That's what I want. Do I think it matters what I want for people? No. I have finally learned that it doesn't matter and that there's no amount of sacrificing my life force energy that is going to make anybody want anything better for themselves. All I can do is emanate what I emanate, stand for what I stand for, and hope that it reaches who it's meant to reach. And that's it. And that's all I'm going to do. And so my comment makes it very clear that I don't think we should boycott. My comment is tantamount to everybody doesn't want the same thing. And there are a lot of people who are saying it's just a song. Well, if that's what you think, enjoy. But what I know is that music has power. But of course, I have used that power to help some people. And I have traveled around this world twice. And I see the impact of what we export out of the Black American experience to the rest of the world. Longer story for another time, but I've seen it. So I know. And I'm telling you what it is. But you enjoy if that's what you want to do. And I will enjoy doing what I want to do. And that's why I don't think anybody needs to boycott. I think people just need to make choices for themselves. That's what I think. That's one. Two, also, this is a short version of a longer video. I put a much longer video where I go into detail about these concepts on my Substack. So go check that out if you're interested. Two, I was also in the blogs because I made comments about Clive Davis. And I said, watch what kind of stories you're going to see coming out about him. I signed my record deal when I was 22 years old. And so I learned about human nature through the lens of the music industry. So I got a full hot dose of all of it. And I know what kind of stories are going to go. I don't need to say anything more because you're going to hear the stories. You're already hearing the stories. If you're on social media, you hear some of it's true, some of it's not true, some of it's conspiracy, some of it's, what's the word, exaggerated, but a lot of it's true. And it's not my place to tell stories of people close to me, but I've heard some stories and I have my own experience. And again, it was wrongly reported that I talked about our working relationship. I did not have a working relationship with him, but I was certainly at the effect of his power. So I go further into that on my Substack if you're interested. And the third thing, when I made the Clive Davis comments, people were saying, well, speak on it, sis. Like, tell us what you think. Like, like they wanted me to, because in my comment, I said, I don't need to go into my story because people have far worse stories than me. I called my experiences with Clive Davis an irritation, and it was an irritation.
Okay, so that was interesting because I did hear something about her talking about Clive Davis, and that's not for this video, but There was something that I wanted to post as not post, but share as well with
First of all,
I
I'm
was
gonna
very
say shout out
taken
to my
back
little
by
homegirl,
this.
Young Miami.
It's profanity in it,
Got the hottest record
but
on radio, streets, video,
it's
social,
really
all
sad
social
to
media
see old
platforms,
men who could be my
Apple
father
Music,
talking like this
Spotify,
publicly about
all that
women,
shit, YouTube.
and then they act like
The
they're not
finest little
also
shit in the game right
older
now,
as well. I don't know. It's
and
interesting.
everybody is jamming this record except a few old centuries. Let me tell you old something. That's why I don't you old right now. That's why I would not my one you old so because you old is too modern and too plain, outdated. The game done passed you by. Do you think y'all Miami give a fuck about you don't like her record? You take our time to go on social media to down talk a girl. We've been talking negativity in every music, all every song since before I even started doing music, and I've been doing it mother 30 years. I'm about you age. You to say something about me. Leave that little young lady alone. Because if you see how pretty she is, you don't look like her. So it giving me hate a little bit. You see how fine she is. You ain't shaped like her. You don't shape like me. If you shape like me, you do not have no motherfucking grounds. You don't have a dog in the fight to be getting on the social media down talking to this young lady who's doing something positive and successful. You got to raise your own kids. If you let music raise your kids, that's your you bad breath. Just always talking about it. Man, let the girl get her mother money. All the negative records in the world that came out and people have made plenty mother money off of. Y'all want to talk down on the young lady because she got a hit record, a hot record? You think that's gonna stop?
I want to pause it for a second. When he said that's why he don't deal with older women. Yeah, sometimes women as they get older, they lose some of their spark, they lose some of their fun, their edge. But I don't believe that's the reason why, because it doesn't seem like India Ari is a type of older woman that has lost her spark. She has dead eyes. She's bitter or drained, or her life force has been drained from her. She doesn't come off like that type of person. You know, the same thing with Felicia Rashad and other women that I've seen where they talk down about them when they've spoken out about things in the industry they didn't agree with younger women who are putting out certain content. And that's one of the that's one of the things that they come at is the older women in their age. Instead of focusing on the actual topic at hand, and not to say that he's not focusing on that as well, but they always go after the age because society always shames women for getting older. Once again, like I said, he's also old. She actually, NDRE looks younger than he does. I don't know how old. Um, let's see. How old is Trick Daddy? So he's around 51, they say. And let's see how old she is. And she's around 50. Yeah. So they're around the same age. And in my opinion, she looks younger than he does, even though she's only a year younger, but she looks much younger than he does. So I don't know. I find that kind of interesting because you can clearly see that she's taking care of herself inside and out. She's glowing. Her skin is beautiful. She looks put together. She looks moisturized. You know what I mean? Like I said, she doesn't have those dead eyes. She doesn't look like her life force has been drained. She doesn't look bitter. She doesn't look angry. That's another thing that they'll try to accuse women, especially black women, when they get a certain age and they speak out and give their opinion. Oh, she's bitter. She's angry. She's jealous. You know, so I just find it kind of interesting that the age is one of the first things that comes up as like a critique which that has nothing to do with the conversation because you have older women and younger women putting out certain types of music out into the ethers, whether they're famous or not, successful or not, because you do have younger people who also put out music like Arie makes, right? So not all younger women are, putting out Spin That and all these different type of songs too, right? Different types of people in different types of age groups. All older women are not the same. All young women are not the same. But there's this assumption that if a woman is older, she's worn out, she's bitter, she's this and that, and oh, that's why I don't deal with older women because they're not fun and they want to hate on the younger women and all this type of stuff. But I think a lot of these men, they don't want to deal with older women because they don't want to deal with the oh, these headphones are hurting my ear. They don't want to deal with the accountability that's going to come with dealing with an old woman who has done the internal work on herself. So they rather deal with a younger woman because it's all about fun and turning up and all that. But an older woman, not saying that she can't be fun, but there may be more responsibility that comes with that, more accountability, more boundaries. And I'm not saying that Young Miami doesn't have boundaries or other younger women. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes when men are dealing with younger women, there's a reason for that. It's not always just because they just want to deal with a young woman because she's pretty and she's youthful. That may be a part of it. But not all younger women are youthful and beautiful according to society standards, Look at Maya the singer. She's dropped dead gorgeous in my opinion, and she's much older than I am. Not much older. I think she's at least 10 years older, maybe. Almost 10 years older. Right? But she looks amazing, face wise and body wise. So just because a woman is older doesn't mean she looks worn out. Sometimes she looks even better than the woman that's younger. I've seen some women like Maya who they got me kind of thinking, dang, I need to get into the gym. I need to take better care of my skin. I need to eat cleaner and take care of my lifestyle and change the way that I'm living so I can have less stress so that I can age gracefully and glow and not have my life force being drained in ways that I feel like it's being drained, living in the environment that I'm living in and all the things that I'm exposed to that's affecting me, I believe, even health wise. So it's inspiring to see older women glowing and taking care of themselves. So I just find it very interesting the disrespect that is geared towards older women. There's no respect, there's no regard, there's no reverence, there's no, I don't know. I just find it interesting. Maybe because I was raised by my grandmother and my great grandmother, and I was kind of like an old soul. So I'm not saying like I always, like I said at the beginning, I didn't always do the right thing when it came to older people. I didn't always listen. There were times that I wish I would have listened a lot more. But it was just certain things I just didn't go as far as I see some of these younger people going with the way that they speak about older people. But even the people that in the same age group, like Trick Daddy, he's in the same age group as she is, and disrespecting her like that publicly. It's just like you can talk about some, just like how she gave her opinion. He has a right to give his opinion about what she said about the song. But why be so nasty? Why be so inappropriate? Why be so condescending and degrading in the way you talk? And it's not surprising given that I've heard his music and the way that the way how he talks. But I don't know. I guess I was probably hoping that by this age he would have changed some of his ways because you would hope, right? A man has gotten much older. He probably got kids, maybe grandchildren. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's just very sad. But let's continue the video.
You don't see she climbing the charts every day. Y'all leave Young Miami alone and spin that shit. Again, shout out to Young Miami. Got the hottest record in the fucking world. Not just.
Oh yeah, and the thing I'll say as well is that I expect him to support Young Miami. I expect him to speak up for her because I believe from what I've seen, Trick Daddy and Trina, they seem to be still cool. And it seems like Trina took Young Miami under her wing. So it seems like, they all kind of come from the same city. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like they all come from the same city. They all kind of know each other. So him being an older man and kind of being in that circle, he's gonna speak up for her and he's gonna ride for her. But I just feel like you can still do that without disrespecting another woman. And that's one thing that's always a red flag to me. And that's one thing that I want to really, really set boundaries with and address it more with men, even on a personal level. Like, because I don't like when men try to, and sometimes it's not always blatant like this. Like, this is like kind of like obvious that he's saying inappropriate things about Indira, but sometimes men, even just subtle things that they'll say in support of you, but then they're kind of bringing down the next one. I don't like that. And even when I didn't always speak up when I probably should have, I still felt like, something about this doesn't feel right. Even though he may not be saying anything that's nasty or degrading, but it's still like, what was the reason? Was it to try to gas me up? But you don't got to do that in order to put another woman down. You could have just told me, oh, you have beautiful hair. You ain't got to be like, oh, you have such beautiful, long, thick hair, Desiree. Not like these bald headed scallywags out here. Like, you could have just left that out. Or them girls who wear a ponytail with just a little bit of hair. Like they be showing those memes. Like, or like, oh yeah, you're skinny, but at least you're not fat or whatever. It's like you didn't have to really say that. Well, I guess that in that context is different because you're not really talking about fat people. But I just feel like sometimes guys they'll say things like, oh, some women out here, they're fat, they got big bellies and stuff and blah, 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 fupas. So at least you ain't got it like those women. It's like, you don't need to say that. Like, yes, I'm grateful that I don't have a fupa. I'm grateful that I don't have a big stomach. I am grateful for that. I don't want that. I don't think any woman wants that. Well, there are some women who say they like having a little bit of stomach. I don't like having no stomach. I definitely don't want no fupa. But I don't have to talk down about a woman who has a fupa. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to do that. So I don't like when men do that. So I feel like men can support a woman or gas her up. Not gas her up, but like speak life into her or whatever it is that you want to call it without like speaking bad on another woman. And I feel like that's what he's doing here. So I expect him to speak up for me on Miami, but I just don't like the way he's going about doing it.
It's the country, the hottest record in the world. They singing this shit in China, in Russia, in Ethiopia, goddamn it. Shout out to Young Miami, one of the baddest shit, the finest little shit in the game right now. You bad body old bitches, not one fuck to be giving how you feel about this young girl and her song. All the negative music that come out, you want to simply try to target a young black female that's doing something positive, that's in her bag right now. You talked about her bag when she put out certain singles. You talked about her over and over again with situations with who the nigga she was dealing with. Everything y'all get on this fucking internet and act like y'all life is all peaches and cream. But I know you old bad breath smelling ass bitches. I know you bitches. I know you.
Wow.
I know you mad. I know you hoes is mad and you jealous. You look at that young fine girl on that stage rocking each clubs each and every night, these appearances, these hosts. She dropping her hottest single out there. Young Miami, you got not let these old ragla ass bitches deter nothing you trying to do.
I don't see what is raggedy about India Arito. She's not raggedy. Like, she's a regal woman. So it's just weird. Like, once again, the degradation of women, especially black women, when they get older. I mean, women in general deal with a lot of stuff when it comes to ageism. But I'm focusing on black women here because this is what the situation is. And like I said with Felicia Rashad, it's the same concept. Black women who are older cannot speak up as elders and say, hey, I'm all for younger women being successful. I'm all for them making money. I'm all for them having success and this and that. But let's be cognizant of the type of music we're putting out. Let's be cognizant of the type of energy we're putting out there. Let's be cognizant of the influence, because there's younger women who look up to these artists and follow them. You see, like, I've even seen people's baby. This might have to be another video, but I think it's very bizarre when you have a song called Spend That and it's obviously not a children's song, and you have people's children dancing to it and they're recording them, and you have people's babies dancing to it and they're recording them. Like, I don't understand why people do this. And you can't say nothing because you ain't got no kids, so you don't understand. You don't supposed to speak on people with kids because you don't know what it's like to have kids. I don't think I gotta have kids to know that I should not be having my baby bouncing up and down dancing to spend that, or my little girl twerking, or my little boy putting them little his little hand signs rapping to spend that. I don't think that I have to be a mother to know that that's not appropriate. And then on top of that, I recorded it and put it on the internet for the world to see it. like, like where they do that at? Like to me, this is bird brain behavior. Oh, people just having fun. Okay, but there's consequences to what you put out into the internet, and those are your children. So you have to be careful and cognizant of how you're presenting your children to the world, especially black children at that, because you already know the world sees them a certain way. So that's very irresponsible to just make it seem like it's just having fun when there's children involved. I think it's really, really bizarre. But like I said, you can't say nothing because you ain't got no kids. But like I said, I don't believe that I need to have kids to understand common sense. Once again, burn brain behavior. So that's also the issue that I've been having too. It's like back in the days when you had these type of songs, you kind of had to like go out and buy the CD because of the nature of the song. Like it's an explicit song. Not just because it has curses, but because of the nature of the song. But nowadays, because of streaming and because of the internet and social media, music is everywhere. So I think that that's the concern that a lot of these older women have, is that it's kind of reaching everybody, including children, because even their own parents are okay with playing it around them and recording them and putting it on the internet. So, and even parents who don't want their kids listening to that, they're going to see other kids dancing to it. They're going to hear it at school. They're going to hear it in the street when some car's driving by. They hear it all over the place. So it's like it's so mainstream that you can't really get away from those songs, even if you're trying to shelter your children from it, which is one of the reasons why I feel like having a child is so challenging these days for many reasons. But one of the reasons is because your children are exposed to so much, and you cannot. I mean, of course, on one hand, you should talk to your children and let them know what's going on in the world. But then sometimes you don't want them to be exposed to things too early without them understanding what they're being exposed to. And music is powerful. Music has frequencies, and sometimes they intentionally alter music to have certain frequencies to have a certain effect on you. The beats, the melodies do something to your body, get you moving in a certain way, get your mind to think a certain way, get your prefrontal cortex to react a certain way. The words that are being said, and we keep repeating the words, we keep saying it, spend that, go y'all back, and then it's catchy too. It becomes trendy. It becomes catchy because even I catch myself sometimes be like, boy, going that, go y'all back, because I hear it so much now that even if I'm not trying to listen to that, I'm gonna see it all over the internet or TikTok, whatever. So it's very catchy, and this is why you got to be careful. I've made that mistake of listening to songs out of curiosity, and then I'm like, oh, I don't really like that. But then I may hear it again on social media, so I'm like, So then I may listen to it again. I'm like, maybe I kind of like it, and then before you know, it becomes like an addiction. Excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm kind of tired. It's been a very long day. So then there's like dances as well, right? So now you got the dances that go along with the song, that go along with the beat and the melody. So you're repeating this, boy going, y'all go, y'all back, and a certain dance that goes along with it. So all of that stuff sticks into your brain, into your mind, into your spirit, and you pick up that stuff. So me personally, that's something I want to work on, is being very careful of the music I'm listening to. Because like I said at the beginning of this live, I stopped listening to a lot of mainstream music at one point. I cut out practically almost all of it. And then I went back to it, which was a major mistake. Because once you get kind of like delivered from certain things, I feel like when you go back, it's even worse. Because now it's like you get really entangled. Because the goal is to kind of keep us within a low frequency, within a low mindset, with that bird brain mindset. And I'm not saying because you listen to Young Miami, you have a bird brain. I'm not saying that, because I have listened to the City Girls, and I've talked about, and I like intellectual things. I like lectures. I like learning about all types of stuff. So I've never been the type to be bird brain where I'm just sitting around just Dewey, you know, like, no, like, I've always been the type to be a thinker and to be intellectual, and I like to really immerse my mind into learning about psychology and philosophy and finance and history and whatever it is that I can learn. I also pay attention to what's going on in pop culture because it matters, right? I try to pay attention to politics as much as I can. I could do better and spend less time on the internet because I probably could get a lot more done when it comes to research, and I want to get back into writing and stuff like that because those things are important to me because, like I said, I'm an intellectual. But so that's why I say, like, just because somebody listens to these music doesn't mean they're stupid or they're a bird brain, but it still does something to your mind. Because even as much as I like to keep my mind stimulated and I like to be constantly learning new things and I like to have my mind to at a certain level and at a certain capacity, even I can see how I'm affected by music. Even with all the research that I've done on the entertainment industry, I've been looking into that stuff since I was like a preteen or whatever. So all this stuff coming out about the industry and, you know, all these people shocked that, oh, the industry is so evil. This stuff I've been learned about. Obviously, there's some details that I didn't know about, and I'm learning more and more all the time. There's always more to learn. And obviously, I don't know everything because I'm not into the actual industry. And even some of the people who are in the industry, they're still shielded from some of the stuff that's really going on at the top or within certain circles, right? Everybody, I don't believe, is in the same inner circles, right? But to me, it was obvious. I didn't even need to be in the industry. It was obvious to me that there was evil going on. It was obvious there were certain things that were being placed in plain sight, hidden in plain sight, that people were either like overlooking or glossing over, and then they were just calling people conspiracy theorists. But this stuff has been talked about for decades. So a lot of this stuff, like I said, it's been out. It's been talked about. So I felt like that should have kept me from listening to a lot of the stuff, but it didn't. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I liked the music. I still do like some of it. It's catchy, it's entertaining. Music is powerful. Sometimes when I feel down and I feel depressed or whatever, or I'm just had like a long day, or I'm just in a hype mood or whatever mood I'm in, sad mood, I sometimes go to music because I can connect with it, whatever, based on the kind of mood that I'm feeling. There's a certain thing, and I love music because I like to sing and I like to dance. I used to want to be a singer. So I actually listen to music in a way that's very deep and very like layered, right? So I'll listen to songs, I'll listen to the ad libs, and I'll listen to the bridge and the hook, and I'll listen to how all the different instruments come together. Like I like where I listen to a song and it has like a nice outro or whatever, and I'll listen to like the instruments in the outro. Like that's the kind of person that I am. And I didn't realize that everybody wasn't like that. But I remember I was listening to something on TikTok and he was saying like when you have kind of like your brain is almost like an ADHD brain where you just be hearing all these different things in the song simultaneously at the same time. And I was like, I thought that's what everybody did, like hearing all the different ad libs and hearing this and then hearing that background singer and then hearing this instrument and that instrument and this layer and that layer. Like I thought that's how everybody listens to music, but apparently not. So I'm always listening to music. Oh, like this is exactly where the beat drops, you know, and it could also be like I said because I like to sing. So you kind of have to know when exactly does a song start, when does it end, when does this come in, when does that come in, when does that instrument drop, when is that ad lib come in. So to me, it's like that was just normal for me. You know, that's just normal to just listen to music that way. So music for me is very powerful. For anybody, it is. But when you're listening to it in that deep of a way, I've even listened to some music and I'm like, this music makes you feel a little uncomfortable. You know, not just because of the words, but because of the way that the song is, like the melody and the frequency that's going on with the song. But that's intentional because of the type of song that it is. So let's wrap up this video.
That's why I don't fuck you old bitches. That's why I would not fuck one of you old bitches because the game done passed you by, bitch. You still stuck in the motherfucking 50s and the 60s. I don't want no old bitch with no gray hairs on her pussy. Let me explain something to you, hoes.
Excuse the language because I know I have
Yo, I'm
certain
celebrating. I got
audience.
my LLC and my credit score 800. Stick your 800 credit score up your ass and your LLC ain't making no motherfucking money, bitch. You don't have a customer,
Is this
a
almost
product to
done?
sell. All your shit is bullshit. Get you some money, however you do. Stop getting on here talking bad about your fellow black woman that's making money. Music ain't for everybody. If you don't like it, bitch, turn off your radio.
Okay. So it's funny because it's like I'm talking about black women here, and then he mentions supporting black women. Okay, so basically, a black woman has to agree with what another black woman does in order to support her. This is the bird brain behavior. This is the bird brain mindset that goes on. So if a black woman is singing, spin that, going y'all go y'all back, boosting where y'all at, it's a song promoting stealing. It's a song promoting scamming, right? So if a woman does not support that because she's an older woman who's of a certain caliber, a certain class, and she just doesn't like what it's promoting, how does that automatically mean that she doesn't support fellow black women and she's trying to tear a black woman down? I don't understand that concept. But see, this is another accusation. It's the same thing with the whole jealous, right? Oh, you just jealous. That was another thing I think that had Sexy Red had said about Felicia Rashad, if I'm not mistaken. You just jealous because I'm young and turned and you old. It's always like this thing of you jealous of me. You wish you could do like me. You wish you had a body like me. I think he talked about that in this video here about the way Arie looks and her body is shaped and stuff like that. Maybe it's later on in the video because the video is almost done. But it's like this accusation of either you don't support other women or you jealous. And I feel like those are an age thing. Those are some of the things that are thrown at women to keep women in silent, to silence women. Oh, you're just jealous. You're just mad because she's prettier than you. You're just mad because she got a better body than you. You're mad because she's younger than you, right? So there goes the age thing and the jealousy thing combined. You're mad because she's young and turned and you're old and washed up. And that's why men, we don't want to sleep with women like you because y'all are old and washed up. Y'all are jealous of the young women because they're fun and they can do things that you can't do. You're just mad. You're just mad. I'm surprised he didn't say the word bitter. Maybe I missed it. But that's another thing. You're bitter. You're mad. You know what I mean? And then he's saying that she's making her money. And that's another thing that people say too. There's nothing wrong with women making money. I think it's great that we are in a time where women can make money in all different types of ways. Because for so many centuries, women just couldn't make money. And when they did, it was like this horrible conditions. And even then, a lot of times women still couldn't have their own bank account. I mean, it was just so much restrictions. So women being able to make their own money, have their own bank accounts, I think it's very important. It's very good. But that doesn't necessarily mean that women have to always agree with the ways that other women make their money. So I don't, that's another thing that I find a little questionable when people say, well, at least they're making money. It's like, well, yeah, there are men out here who are making money. And if they're robbing people and they're putting, I don't know if I can say it on here, but they putting pew-pews to people's heads. It's like, well, is she just making money? Like nobody would really, well, I shouldn't say nobody. A lot of people wouldn't say that. They would say he can't find an honest living. He can't find another way to make money without, you know what I mean? So I feel like, there's nothing wrong with making money, but I don't think people have to necessarily agree with the way you choose to make money, so, and I think that, the entertainment industry also plays on that as well, that weakness, because they know that so many people, they don't come from backgrounds where they have generational wealth. So a lot of these artists are really getting it out the mud. Like they really, and I've heard Young Miami talk about that, like getting it out the mud, working so hard. I remember when JT was locked up and she was doing a lot of stuff on her own. So, it's a lot. It was a lot that she was going through. I think her mother was locked up for a good while as well. So she went through a lot, because I was following the City Girls for a long time. Um, and then I remember when JT ended up getting locked up, and I remember when she came out, and I remember when JT and them and Young Miami separated. So I was kind of there for majority of the time, with Santana and the live streams that he would do with Young Miami. So I kind of could see it from multiple sides. And on one hand, you want to be happy for people, especially because I know what it's like to live in the hood and coming from the hood and growing up in the hood and not having generational wealth and not having money, family funds like that, and really, and then you get an opportunity to be able to not just help yourself but help your family. Like that's a good thing, especially as a woman. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that people have to necessarily agree with how you went ahead and did it, right? Um, People do what they have to do sometimes to get to the top, and we don't always have to agree with that. But another thing too is that sometimes people will respect, like, okay, not respect, but they will understand when people had to do certain things to get to the top, or they felt, at least they felt like they did, because right, because there's always a choice. You always can choose not to do certain things because other women chose a different path, right? But once you get there, do you still have to do certain things? And that just goes to show what the industry is really like, because my thing is, like, you have to kind of put out this type of music and this type of image, and then when you get there, you still got to keep doing it. It's like, it seems like their goal is to continue to drain these artists and get them to be deeper and deeper into stuff, because if you've already gotten to a certain level, why do you still need to do that? Why do you still need to promote certain things? So to me, this is a part of the agenda. And obviously, I think that Young Miami, she also, that's her personality maybe as well, because she's from Miami, she's from the hood. So I don't think she's kind of faking it. I think that's just, she's also being who she is to some extent. But I think the industry is playing off of that to make money, and it's just, it sells, and like I said, on one hand, you want to be happy for people because they're becoming successful. But then when you understand what the industry is like and how they literally eat people up and they chew people up and they spit people out, it's very scary. And also when you see the agenda that they're trying to push um, towards society by using music. And somebody like him who's in the entertainment industry, I'm sure he's seen a lot, he's heard a lot, he's maybe even done a lot, who knows. He should know more than a lot of everyday people how powerful music is, how powerful the entertainment industry is, and what really goes on back there. So to make it seem like, oh, it's not a big deal, it's just music, let her make her money. To me, that's kind of disingenuous and also dangerous, because there are a lot of people who have lost their lives. They have lost themselves in that industry. So I think it's very, like I said, there's nothing wrong with wanting people to be successful and wanting to be happy for people, but it doesn't mean that it still shouldn't be talked about when it comes to the importance of the kind of entertainment that's being put out there, because it is affecting the masses, right? So it's a very controversial and tricky topic. It really, really is. So let's just wrap this up, and then I'm probably gonna end this live.
Close and cancel your subscription to all your social media sites. Get off of Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, because, bitch, as long as you on there, you going to hear it, raggedy bitch.
Wow.
These young hoes don't want to leave their man. They want to be happy. These young women of the day, these young bitches of the day do not want to be old and miserable like you for the rest of their life. They want to smoke a hookah, hit them a joint.
What in the world? I just got charged $108 for Microsoft. I think it's the it's my 365. That just pissed me off, y'all. You know what you hate? Like when you get like a random like auto pay thing. It's like a not auto pay. It's a random subscription. It's like when you have these subscriptions. That's why I was like, I need to make an effort to write down. And I should have did it when I thought about it. Write down all my subscriptions that I have for the year, so that I know what I have and what's when it's coming up. So I won't be on a live stream and then all of a sudden I get a email saying I got charged $108. And like $108, I mean, thankfully that's not like gonna throw me off or anything, but still, I didn't want to pay $108 right now. Anyways,
Take them a shot of Don Julio or Patron. They want to get flued out. They want to put that shit on and get fucked real good, you dumb, ignorant bitch.
wow.
On behalf of Young Miami, kiss every bitch ass in Miami. If you think we give a fuck about how you feel, then go spin that shit, bitch.
That's crazy. It's like to talk like that. It's really sad. It's really sad that these men are at this age and they're talking like this publicly. It's bad enough when they're talking like this privately, but publicly. So if the person, you know how they always say, if the person will do this publicly, imagine what they're doing privately, because we all have our own private personality when we're fully ourselves, when we're by ourselves, you know, and yeah. So it's just sad. It's really sad. Let's stop sharing here. Yeah, so I'm gonna end this live. I don't want this to be too drawn out. Maybe I'll come back another time and talk about this, but I just want to wrap up and say that I think that if Young Miami, Carisha, however you want to refer to her, can come out with a song called Spend That, and she can come out with a public song, then India Arie can come out and talk about how she doesn't agree with the song. It's amazing how people can come out and say whatever they want to say, but when you give an opinion about it, they tell you to be quiet. Okay, so that person gets to speak and put out whatever they want to put out, but when I respond, I have to be quiet. That doesn't make any sense. People pick and choose. People just want you to be quiet because they don't want to hear what you have to say. They're not. It's not that. It's not even necessarily about they want people to be quiet, because. And another thing too, I've noticed as well is that people pick and choose. People pick and choose when who basically it depends on who's saying what. So if they don't like a certain person, or because a person, like I mentioned before, they have a certain age, because then if the person was like the same age as Young Miami, then they wouldn't be able to say, oh, she's old. So then the comment, they would have to say, oh, she's just mad because she's broke, or she's just mad because she's not as pretty, or it would just be something else, because you can't use the old thing because they're the same age, or maybe it's a woman that's younger than Young Miami saying I don't like that music. So it's kind of like it really depends on who's saying it as well, and then they kind of go off of that and then they just attack the person as opposed to focusing on the topic at hand. And my thing is like this: if you like the song Spend That, you like Young Miami, why are you so angry about somebody having an opinion about it? Okay, you could be mad at the fact that they said they don't like it, or they don't like how the influence that it's having, and you can give your opinion and then you can keep moving, because it's not going to change the fact that the song is still going to be popular. The person's going to still put out music. So why are you so angry? Why are you so riled up? So that to me also, I think it's like I said before, I think it's because he knows Young Miami, so it could also be a personal thing. But it's not the first time that I've seen that though. Like even with people who don't even know celebrities, they will literally go just as hard as him, if not worse. Like Nicki Minaj, for example, you'll say something about her or Beyonce. Oh gosh, you can't say anything about Beyonce. And people will attack you. They'll threaten you in some cases. It's like you've never even met these people. And even if you did, you met them like as a fan. Like you don't know these people. So why are you going so hard for somebody that you don't even know? Somebody who probably wouldn't even do anything for you if you needed something. I mean, they don't even know you anyway to do anything for you. So why are you going that hard? Meanwhile, these same people will not go that hard for their own selves, for their own family members, for their own beliefs and other things that they believe in, but they'll go this hard for a celebrity that they don't even know. It's very bizarre. And I think a lot of these celebrities are put up on a pedestal. They're kind of like deified and treated like they're some type of god. And this is why people go so hard and become so aggressive and so nasty when other people have an opinion about them, because they don't hold these celebrities as regular everyday people. I mean, they're not just regular everyday people. Obviously, they're celebrities. They have a large following. They have a certain amount of fame. They don't always have a lot of money. That depends. But they do have a level of fame and success or whatever if they are a popular artist who people love, right? And yeah, people will basically, I don't know, people become very angry. Anyways, I'm gonna stop here. You can't really talk about celebrities because people lose their minds. But I hope y'all have a good weekend. Hopefully y'all have the day off today. Tomorrow I should say, because it's not 12 o'clock yet here. But I hope y'all have a good weekend. If you have tomorrow off, enjoy your long weekend. I know some people are going to be celebrating the 250th anniversary of this country. So, however you choose to celebrate or however you choose to spend your weekend, be safe. And I'm definitely going to try my best to stay away from too many crowds and, just stay away from too much drama, because sometimes people get a little crazy around the holidays with drinking and partying and so forth. So, just be careful, especially those of you who are going to be on the road. And yeah, so take care, y'all. And I might come back and just do a video, a recorded video on this, so I could be a lot more organized, because this wasn't really organized. This was just kind of me just freestyling. But we'll see. So take care, y'all, and have a good night. Bye.